So recently I came across an article on how to modify an N64 with an overclock, and I'd heard about it before, but I wasn't too amped on doing it as I don't really use my N64 all that much anyway. However, I had some time, so I figured I'd dive into it. If this is something you're interested in doing yourself, there's a good article on GameSX.com. This isn't a very difficult mod, as it only requires lifting 2 pins off of the CPU and then soldering it to a capacitor. So it's a fairly easy mod. You can take it a little bit further and add a switch, but I didn't bother with it on mine. First up, there's been a lot of debate on which model or which revision of the motherboard that you want to use. I don't think it really matters all that much because it goes back and forth on that. I think it's more of a heat dissipation issue, which I'll show you what I did with mine. However, from what it seems like, the later revision motherboards are the ones you want to look for. You'll see here that mine is an 08. Now, I actually took a different approach than I've seen anyone else do. I put on top of the heat spreaders some thermal compound, as you would on a computer or any other device that you want to cool down the chipset. So there's a double-sided tape or thermal pad underneath those. I wouldn't recommend getting rid of that, but on top of them, it should be fine to use some thermal paste. All of that heat will be transferred through the chipset into the RF shielding and that plate that sits on top of those heat spreaders. So I really don't see a reason in installing a fan like most people are recommending, and I haven't had any sort of heat issues with mine since I've done this. So the main goal here is to get better frames per second. You will see in the following videos that some games are coded differently, and they will actually just speed up gameplay. That's not what we're going for here. We're going for more frames per second and try to stay within the limitations of the same gameplay time. So now I'm going to leave you with a bunch of examples of different games with an overclock and in stock mode. Overall, I would say that this is a good thing to do for a good amount of the library. However, there's some games, and you'll notice, for example, Perfect Dark, the gameplay is just sped up, and it seems by like 30%. Yeah, so you don't really want to do that. That kind of breaks the game. But in games like Quake 2, you can definitely tell you get an advantage in the frames per second. And as always, thanks for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. I had a lot of fun making this video because I wasn't sure myself how it was going to come out, and only making this video could I really tell. Unfortunately, I don't have the tools like Digital Foundry does to see the frames per second. I really wish that I did, but hopefully they can do something themselves. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys.